Hello and welcome to the MMA War Room. I am Sam Corcoran. It has been a minute since I've been on here, but we are back. I was not dead. I was just busy enjoying my life, doing a lot of fun things. But this is also a very fun thing that I missed dearly is being in the MMA War Room with my good buddy Chris Schroer. Chris, how we feeling? How we feling today?
We're
Oh
feeling
man,
good. There's some love for you, Sam.
yes sir.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I'm glad you're back. You've been busy doing some big things. And you've been still sending in your picks though, so
Oh,
clearly you can't
I
get
will
away from the
always
war
send in
room.
my picks. I always got that.
Yes, sir.
Um,
But
yeah,
yeah,
we've been
glad you're
doing.
doing big things.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I've been doing big things. We've been doing big things here in the
Oh,
MMA room, and we're
trying.
doing another big thing we haven't done yet. We're gonna be ranking. We were having this discussion in the chat about the lightweight division and with just how loaded it is and how much young talent there is in the lightweight division. So we wanted to go through some of the best lightweight prospects there are right now and kind of rank them. See, like, who do we think is going to be a contender one day, who's a fraud, who is just waiting to get fraud checked, and who's just going to be around that gatekeeper status, we think, one day. I think the first thing would be to talk, because we are also having this discussion in our chat. What is a prospect? I'll let you go first. What is a prospect to you, Chris?
Sure. Yeah.
Let's get a hard definition down.
Me and Shrikar were having a big debate about this. Personally, I think a prospect is someone who, you could have a decent amount of experience in MMA, but I feel like once you pass the 10 fight threshold in the UFC, I don't really consider you a prospect anymore. I consider you somewhat in the middle ground. Like you're not a veteran, but you're not new to this. You've been around the block and you've picked up some things along the way, some experience that can help you in your future fights. And I also think that the level of competition you've faced declares declares you a prospect or not. Because you look at someone like Paddy Pimblett, he's 7-0 in the UFC. He's under the 10 fight threshold, but he's the number 5 lightweight in the world. You look at Ilia Topuria, he's 9-0 in the UFC. He was the undisputed champ before relinquishing his title. But he's fought great competition. So it's kind of give and take. I think there's just those two criteria. Also, even if you're a little bit over the 10 fight threshold, I think how long you've been training in martial arts, how many pro fights you have matter. But that's just my personal opinion. I think there is a middle ground. Let us know in the comments what you guys think at home, what you consider a prospect, because there's really no set definition in the UFC. Like there's a definition in other sports maybe, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't say it's completely specified. I'm going to pitch it to Sam. Sam, what do you think a prospect is?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think there's a few things that matter. First of all, with the 10 fight threshold, I can agree and disagree. I think it just depends on how active you are. Um, if you're like a Josh Van who fought like 10 fights, I mean, he was so active. He fought like 3 fights in the span of 6 months. Something ridiculous like that. Um, I would say like when he fought for the title last weekend, I think he was still considered a prospect. Um, because I mean, yes, he was a contender as well, but just how quickly he steamrolled through everyone and then ended up being a contender just like that, I still think that's a prospect. On the
Yeah.
same note, you could be like somebody who fights maybe once a year, 5 fights like once a year, and like by that fifth fight, are you really still a prospect? It's kind of hard to tell. It kind of just depends on like it also depends on who you're fighting. I personally think if you're in the rankings, you're not really a prospect unless you're someone in the consideration and in the sense of like Josh Fan and Mauricio Hufi. We'll talk little bit about later. Just with like who you fought and how many fights you fought. So it's a mix of things. It's hard definition, and it's definitely something that I think we can all disagree on what a prospect really is. But let's pull up the list that we have right now, because these are some of the prospects that we decided that we're going to rank. There are a few good ones. There are a few mad ones on here, but we can just take them from here, Chris. I'll let you, since you have control of this, I'll let you dictate this one and pick
Yeah,
and
sure.
choose who we
So
want to talk
I'm not
about.
sure the people at home if you guys have seen this before. This is a tier list. If you watch like If you're into, sports video games, you watch maybe 2K My Team videos, Madden Ultimate Team videos. This is how people rank cards. People can rank athletes like this. So yeah, it's a very good mechanism in my opinion to rank fighters. So there is no F tier down here. It did disappear because I might have reloaded this on accident. But I
Yeah.
think the first stop at D tier is going to be Trevor Peak. He is the first fighter on the list. He's Trevor Peak. He likes to get into brawls, doesn't have cardio, and does not fare very well in most of the fights. Would you agree, Sam?
Yeah, I would. I think I would tend to agree with that. I mean, it's somebody who's kind of on his way out of the UFC. If we're being real, I think you just have to
Yep.
put him in D tier. And I'm not gonna lie, like I'll just be fully transparent. Some of these guys we just put in to kind of show what a D tier prospect looks like, because we put the best of the best, and we just build like S tier, A tier, S tier, A tier, maybe one B tier here or there. It's just a sense to show like who is really in that tier. What type of fighter are we looking at? D tier is probably someone where I am like they're going to be out of the UFC in a few years. Didn't work out for them.
Few months, maybe.
Few months, yeah, could be like that. I would say like S tier, you're looking at a guy who's going to be a future champion, competing for a title. A tier, you're probably looking at a very solid fighter throughout his entire career. Maybe not title worthy, but like close to that. And I think like B tier, once you hit B tier, C tier, you're looking at guys who I think will probably have good UFC careers, but probably around that gatekeeper status, like nothing, they're not going to be anything too special. So,
All right, Sam. So you mentioned Mauricio Rufy before. What tier would you put him in?
It's a tough one. I think with this recent, like, I think he was the top prospect in all the UFC up until that BSD fight, where his stock tanked a little bit. Nonetheless, I do still think that he is an S tier prospect at this point.
I would
I
agree with
think,
that.
and you would agree with that, yeah,
Yeah.
because I think, look, BSD, I think he has shown since that fight that his stock is high right now. He is on the way up, and Hoofy's still getting arguably a better test than than BSD and Rafael Fiziev in, I believe, February it is, or 320 UFC 325. Um, it's interesting to see like he loses a fight and he gets a better test. So I think that really says a lot about where he is, and it's going to be a good test for him. I'm very excited to see how that fight goes. Nonetheless, I do think he has everything it takes to be a champion, and I do think he's one of the best prospects in the UFC. I wouldn't say the best, but he's one of. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think he has all the potential in the world. A few things to iron out, but still he could be one of the most entertaining lightweights that we've seen. And one day he might be able to clinch a little bit of gold. So I think S tier is perfect for him. I'm gonna go with someone that I really like, Chris Duncan. I want to put him in S tier. I would not put him there though. I think there's too many holes in his game as of right now. I think he has a great ground game. His subs are there. He has power to stand with anyone, but his defense is a little bit lackluster. He gets hit a lot, and against the top level of competition, durability can only take you so far. So right now, I'm going to put him at A. I think he deserves to be at A, but I don't think he has the defense to put him into that next tier, like Mauricio Rufy. And obviously, like Rufy does have a little bit of hole. We've seen a little bit of holes in his game, considering what Benoit Saint Denis did to him on the ground. He might not have the best ground game, but I think those are still things you can work on. I've just seen Duncan kind of get lit up a lot on the feet, and even though he's able to stand and take it, and dish it back out, I feel like against more calculated strikers who he has really yet to face, that'll really pay. That'll really make him pay. So I think A tier is okay because I still think that the potential is there, and he finds a way to make something out of nothing. So I would put him there. Sam, would you put him any lower?
Definitely not any lower. I think he's like close to being on the border between S and A tier. I got to be honest. Um, it was like, and he is someone that really proved me wrong.
Mhm.
I did not see him becoming this good. And now he is one of the best prospects in all of the UFC. I do agree with you though. There are some holes to his game. Um, and I don't think he's the best of the best just yet. And I also think you have to look at some of the competition he's faced. Like
Mhm.
he's faced some fantastic fighters. Mateusz Rebecki, Terrence McKinney, Bolaji Oki. I think at the end of the day, though, like I want to see him get like a real test. And I'm
Yep.
not saying those guys are real tests, but there's a lot of other guys as well that I think are much higher that I think could really give him a challenge. So I'm putting him in A just because I think he's a little unproven right now when it comes to being the best of the best.
Yep. I definitely agree. Like I said, the defense is just a little bit lackluster for me to move him to that next tier. I'll throw you another one, Sam. What do you think about Esteban Ribovics?
Oh man, this is a good one. I mean, Ribovics has been fantastic recently. I think when you look at his last fight, I'm trying to who's it again?
Elvis Brenner, I believe.
Elvis Brenner, yes. I believe I had Ribovics winning. I mean, he has been dominant. He did lose to Nasrat Haqparast recently. So that was he has 2 losses in the UFC. So he has a few digs to him, but he beat Zellhuber, which is another guy I believe we're talking about
Yes.
later. Elvis Brenner was a great win. And I said he's getting close to a ring shot, wasn't there just yet. Um, I mean, there are some holes to his game. Like I think he's in a similar situation with Chris Duncan, where I think he's close to being in that S tier, but I think I would put him in that A tier just for now.
I would agree too. I really want him to move to take that next step. But
And
I
he's
think
close. Don't mind me. He is very
right.
close to
I
taking that
think
next step.
another big win for him would move him into that tier.
I agree. And I think he's learned a lot since that Hawkpadas fight. You saw that in that Elvis Brenner fight. I feel like he just grew a lot from that. I mean, he looks good, man. He looks very dangerous and very good.
Yeah, no, 100%. And speaking of Daniel Zellhuber, I think that we should talk about him right now. I think that's a perfect segue. Zellhuber's a little bit of a mystery to me because I was very high on him coming in. He's golden boy. He has great hands, very fast. He is from I believe he trains at the PI in Mexico. He has a lot of great trainers around him. But a few of his losses, I mean, 15-3. He has good wins as well, including, let's see, I have it right here. He's beat Prado. Actually, you know what? The wins aren't over the top. I feel like for me, him losing to Michael Johnson in his last fight, and it was a dominant win from Michael Johnson. That made me take a step back from Zellhuber. And the fight against Ribovics was close. It was a split decision at the Sphere. But as the fight went on, I feel like he lost the fire. His cardio faded, obviously, because he was getting hurt. But I think that the cardio definitely is something that needs to change, even though he was throwing to the last second. And
Yeah.
it might not seem like the cardio is a problem. In the Michael Johnson fight, he just got completely outclassed. He's in
Yes.
the UFC. He in Contender Series, excuse me, he beat Lucas Almeida. Then he's beat Lando Venata, Christos Giagos, and Francisco Prado. I don't really think that those are great wins, even though the Prado fight got him fight of the night and the Giagos fight got him a performance. As of right now, until I see a little bit something else from him, I'm gonna put him in the B tier. And obviously it's not I don't think it's a shot at him, but I feel like he's in no man's land for me. I wouldn't consider him on the level of, as of right now, of Duncan and Ribovics.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Chris. I don't think he's on that level just yet. Especially coming off of 2 losses, and not to mention the fact he lost to Esteban Ribovics, who I put at an A tier, and I think he needs to prove more. I think if you're losing to some of those guys, I think you need to prove a lot more. I think he right now I'll put him in the B tier. Like he has, and the B tier is someone who I would say like has potential to be in that tier, but just needs to prove a lot more to be like a good contender. Because right now, you kind of see like you kind of feel he's near that gatekeeper status.
Mhm.
If he loses a few more fights, or if it's just going to be like a back and forth, back and forth. But I think B tier is a good fit for him.
Yep, definitely. And let's pick someone else on here.
Let's
Let's
talk about
pick,
a guy who can I
yeah,
can I talk about a guy I
yeah, of
want to
course.
talk about?
Pick someone.
This is going to be a hot take. I think that Ignacio Bahamondes is an S tier prospect. I think
I would
from
agree.
what you would agree with that.
I would agree.
Interesting. So maybe it's not a hot take. Um, I love Ignacio Bahamondes. I think the Fiziev fight was a great test for him. Just get a good. He is that. First of all, that proves it to me that you can fight with the best of the best. And that's what an S tier prospect should be. A guy who can hang in there with the best of the best. Don't need to necessarily win. You're a prospect. You have time to grow. But the fact what they've done to Fiziev since that win, I think says a lot. He was gonna have Charles Oliveira. Obviously, that didn't work out. And now he gets Mauricio Hufi, another great prospect. You're smirking at something. Is there?
No, I'm okay.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
He's got something to
I,
say.
I just I just thought of a funny joke.
All right, let's hear the joke.
No, it's okay.
No, is it?
No,
Is
it's
it?
nothing you said. It's nothing you said.
Is
It's
it G
a
rated?
little birdie on my shoulder said something that made me laugh.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I see where you're. I see where you're. I see where your head's at. Anyways, look, Bahamondes, I think is an S tier prospect. I think he has a lot more to prove. Who is his next fight against? It's coming up soon. I know. Um,
Let's see.
I'm looking right now. He is scheduled to fight. Oh, I swear he was just scheduled to
No,
fight.
he's not. He's not fighting anyone.
Are you sure? I swear I saw a rumor, or I swear I said something about Bahamondes. Um, where is
I
it?
don't know. For me, I think
Anyways, all
What
right.
makes Bahamondes so great to me is just the size and length that he possesses, and the striking ability that he's shown, and what he can do in the apparently the ground game now after submitting Jalen Turner. I still don't know if that was really a fluke or in terms of Jalen Turner really not being in the correct headspace, or if that's something that he's really worked on. And I know the losses, they're not really great. He's 17-6 in the UFC. He did lose to John Makadesi, which was his first pro fight. It was a split decision. He missed weight in that fight as well. He lost to Ludovic Klein, who is someone that could be on this list, but I don't really consider him a
I think he's
prospect.
past that threshold.
I think he's
Yeah,
past that as
I think
well.
he's well past that
And
threshold.
Ludovic Klein is uh, having a very good run in the UFC right now. But I think that Bahamondes, you know, maybe Streetcar would think that he could be on the A tier, or even B tier. No, I would say A tier. I think he could be on the B tier. I just think he has so much potential. I think the
I
big
agree.
lightweights are someone that really can do damage, and especially a sniper like him. That could be something that is proves to really take you far. And he's fought high level of competition already, which shows what the UFC thinks of him. And even though he did lose, I believe, every round to Rafael Fiziev, I think that that's a good learning lesson, stepping stone for him. So he's also very young. He's how old is he? Not very young. He's 28. He's in the prime
He's
of his
28, so
athletic
he's like
career.
reaching towards that threshold, towards the end of being a prospect.
But
But
someone,
I think he is one of the more polished prospects.
I
So
agree. Someone
that's why I
else
would put
that
him in S tier. And I mean, yeah, I think that again, it's a hot take. I know Shrikars would pound the table for like Rivabix or Chris Duncan over Bahamondes, but hey, he's not here. He doesn't really have a voice today. So, anyways, what were you gonna say?
Well, yeah, someone else that's definitely an S tier, no doubt. Manuel Torres.
Yes,
He
without a doubt.
lost to
And he's arguably
Bahamondes. But I mean, look at what he's been doing. Every single win, 5 wins in the UFC. He's 5-1. Performance of the night, every single win. This guy has a death touch. He has good takedown defense, which we just saw against Grant Dawson. I really think he's the whole package, and I think lightweight really needs to watch out for Manuel Torres, because if you blink, he's gonna knock you out.
Oh, 100%. I also think with like he is towards like the Josh Van level of prospect where he is just like steamrolling everyone and is still very young, but now is in the rankings and is getting legit shots. Definitely an S tier prospect, and is also a guy who is almost out of being a prospect. Um, so that begs me the question, Chris, are there any guys on this list that are not like are nowhere near or not close? Not close is not the right word, but just like they're not a few fights away from reaching that end of prospect threshold that are in S tier for you.
Um, that are not a few fights away.
Yeah, like
Um,
they need a few more, but they're in S tier. Like think of
oh,
like a
they're in
Mauricio who'd be
S
like
tier.
2 fights back. Yeah. Or maybe I don't know, maybe there's a lot more. Like I'm just curious. Or like is
I'm
there
trying
any
to think. I
guy,
really don't see
if not S tiers, like who's the guy you would put the highest that's not like close to being out of that prospect threshold?
who. That's kind of difficult.
I'm looking at the
Looking
list right
down,
now.
I
I'm
mean,
trying to
yeah, we have Narulo Aliev, Coway Fernandez, Axel Sola, Quillen Salkild, Tom Nolan, Mike Davis, Balaji Oki, Nazim Sadikov, Anshul Jubli, which I'm not going to be mean. He's going to go right there for now.
Yeah, fast guy.
We have Mason Jones, Charlie Campbell. Just to get this out of the way, I'm going to put Charlie Campbell at C. He doesn't deserve to be a D because he has potential and he's been winning in a majority of his fights. And somehow the tables turned and then he loses. This guy was 2 seconds away from knocking out Chris Duncan. All right, Shrikar's in the chat. I'm just letting the cat out of the bag. You guys can't see
we're
the
we're
chat.
we're rage betting Streetcar a
Yeah, we're
little
rage
bit.
banning Shrikar. He said that was Long Island biased. It
Yeah.
wasn't though, because this guy literally was about to beat Chris Duncan and got flatlined because Chris Duncan's just a dog. He almost beat Tom Nolan, and Tom Nolan was able to flip the switch on him. Like clearly he has the tools to be a good fighter. It's just like he just needs to keep it going for however long. I mean,
Yeah.
he has like half results. It's like finishing a quarter or half of a test and then saying, all right, I'm going to come back to this question that I can't get.
Yeah, I'm kind of also in C tier, but I'm very like 50-50 about it. The reason
It's
why
okay.
is just like I don't know if he's good enough to be like a good gatekeeper. He kind of reminds me of like I don't know, like a Cody Brundage who you're just gonna give like a test to, or like some guy that's up and coming, or like I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking of right now
All
for
right.
whatever
Well,
reason.
I guess my one defense could be is he beat Trevor Peak, who's in D tier.
That's a good defense. That is a good defense. He did beat Trevor Peak.
Yeah, I guess. Nah, I was just clinging to that. But
I
yeah,
got another guy I want to talk
yeah,
about
sure.
who I think actually let me look this guy up real quick. I want to see this guy's who this guy's finished. Just got my facts straight. This is here. Yes, okay. Here's a guy who I don't think is close to being out of the prospect range that I think is S tier.
Okay.
Quillen Saltfield. That is an S tier prospect right there. For
Oh,
me, that is an S tier prospect, and we
I
don't have
might.
to agree on it.
I would probably put him in A.
Yeah, so I'll tell you why I'm putting him in S. I think the record speaks for itself. 3-0 in the UFC, 3 wins this year, and beats Gage Young on Contender Series, another guy who we have on this list. I think at the end of the day, like especially it was Quillen Salkild who was scheduled to fight, not Bahamondes. It was Quillen Salkild versus Quillen Salkild. Jeez, man, been a long day. He's fighting Rongju next, which I don't really think is like that. That tells me you're not really that close to being out of the prospect range, but he has been so impressive. I picked Hakparas to win that fight, and Salkild knocks him out viciously. I That said a lot to me. I would put Hakparas in S tier. I can understand A tier though, considering I don't think. Excuse me. I think there are some parts to his game that could be fixed, but I also think like no one has shown any signs of stopping him. His three in the
I guess,
UFC.
but it's been 3 fights.
Yeah, and I think out of those 3 fights, he has been an S tier prospect.
All right.
Yeah. For
I,
me, this
I'm
is
not
for
going to
me.
disagree,
Yeah.
but I might have put him at S A tier.
We can put him at like an S minus. We can put it that way.
But yeah, wait, let's see. I'm looking for Saul Killed right now in my uh and I cannot. Yeah, because he beat Hawkbross, Yanal
I think the
Ashmouz.
Hakpadas win has put him in S, by the way. I would not put him in S
Okay,
without a
yeah,
B.
I'll agree with that. But I mean, the reason I might not put him up there, like, yeah, he had a crazy knockout, but he beat Yanal Ashmouz, who isn't even in the UFC anymore, and Anshul Jubilee, who is technically on our D tier.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, Shrikar is in our chat saying it's an easy S right now for Cool and Salt Killed.
All right, I guess I get trumped.
Yeah,
But
I think
yeah.
Salt Killed is definitely an S.
All right, yep.
But if you want to talk about,
I would
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I'm gonna give an A tier fighter.
Yeah, I was looking for a good A tier fight. I want to hear what you have.
I'm gonna put Mason Jones. I
hate
was
that.
very impressed about what I saw from Mason Jones in his return to the UFC and his run on Cage Warriors after he was cut from the UFC. This guy is durable as hell. He has immense power in his hands, great grappling. And I mean, I really think the best thing that happened for him was to go back to Cage Warriors, reset, run that circuit, and come back. And his fights against Jeremy Stevens and who else did he fight?
He fought Jeremy Stevens and
Bellagioki.
Bellagioki, yeah.
Bellagioki. I think those two fights really. I mean, Jeremy Stevens obviously is going back and forth to bare knuckle, but I still think that was a good win. I think the win over Bellagioki, who's also on this list, is a solid win. So I'm high on Mason Jones. I was always high on Mason Jones, and I really like the reset. And speaking of Bellagioki,
well,
I'm gonna put
can I just say one thing about Mason Jones? Like,
yeah.
I personally would put him in B, but very close to A. I think he needs one more to say, like, okay, like, look, he got cut from the UFC a while back. Goes to Cage Warriors, gets the resurgence, which I love, and I think that makes him. You can't put him below B with that. I would love to see him get like one more fight before I can confidently say I put him in. I think right now, like, I would put him at B. But I think that Bellagioki fight is a good fight. And speaking of Bellagioki,
yeah,
you would put him at B, Chris. I would also put him at B.
I would put him at B because I think the potential's there. I haven't seen it come all together yet. And the cardio,
I kind of feel the same way I feel about Bellagioki as I do with Mason Jones. I'm a little higher on Mason Jones than I am Bellagioki, but still.
that
could be recency bias too. I'm not gonna lie.
It could be recency bias, and maybe that's why I put him at A. I just think that a fight I would actually love to see would be Chris Duncan versus Mason Jones. Just
Scotland
because Mason Jones, just because Mason Jones is really durable. But yeah, I feel like Mason Jones just has a little more of a complete game than Bellagioki does, and Oki, he gasses really quick, and we've seen it bad, and that's how he lost the Mason Jones fight, and that's also how he just lost. That's also how he lost against Chris Duncan as well. So I think that if he's able to fix that, I would start ranking him higher. But cardio is probably the biggest thing in MMA, in my opinion, because you could be you could be an okay wrestler and okay striker, but if you're gonna, if you could outlast your opponent who throws everything at you, that's a big advantage, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
All right, who else you thinking, Sam?
Let's talk about a guy who just lost this weekend, Nazim Sadikov, because I have some thoughts on him. I have honestly never really been impressed by Nazim Sadikov.
Don't say that about the Black Wolf.
The Black Wolf. Look, I think Ziam was a good test for him, but Ziam just ragdolled him, man. I think his other wins have not been great. I'm going to put him in B tier. I do want to give him the benefit of the doubt a little bit, but like I want to see more from him. I think I would put him in B tier. Or I was debating C and B. I'm not gonna lie.
Ooh,
like he's towards the bottom.
C. I would put him in. I think B is perfect though.
You think B is perfect? Yeah. Okay, we'll leave him in B. I think I'm a little lower on him than some people, but I would put him in B tier. Just like I want to see more from him. And I think that's the thing with B tier. Like right now, my S tier is your best of the best. A tier is like guys who are very close to being like that is a good prospect, and that's someone who should be feared in the UFC. B tier is like good. I want to see a little bit more, and that Nazim Sadikov is one of those people.
No, I agree. And I think not yesterday. Why did I just say yesterday? This past weekend definitely showed that too. Fighting a, very talented Fares Ziam, who could be on this list as well, but I don't think he's a prospect. I think he's crossed that threshold. And especially if maybe he was a prospect before this Nazim Sadikov fight, I don't think he's a prospect after the fight. I think that he is now going to be a contender. He's on a 6-fight win streak, and he's proven himself time and time again. So I think he's kind of out of that range of I don't really know what I'm gonna get from Fares Ziam yet, or in the next fight, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Trying to think. All right, let's see this list. I'm gonna say, ooh, I got a good one. Coway Fernandez.
Oh, that is a good, and that's another guy like he's coming off a big win at UFC Paris. It was again, or was it Paris? No.
Yeah, it was against Harry.
Yeah, it was
Hardwick.
Paris. Harry Hardwick. Yeah, I believe I picked Hardwick for this fight. I mean, he's like good. He loses his first fight in the UFC. And just rattles off 3 straight pretty good wins. Again, another guy I want to see more from though. I would put it in B tier. And yeah, I think B tier is the best. I think B tier is the best for him. I think a guy I want to see more of, but has the potential,
I'll put him in B tier. I was almost leaning towards A tier. I think that
I don't know about A tier just yet.
I think he's a really good striker. And those leg kicks were actually devastating. So I don't know. Maybe it was just that fight, but I don't know. Shrikar's throwing a gasket fit right now that Coway Fernandez should be in A tier at least. I don't think he'd be an S tier, Shrikar. I would say A.
That's just crazy. I think I could move Coway to A.
No, you know what? Let's move him up to A.
We can move him in A. I think like B. Like he has been.
I can't put him in S though.
Like he has been impressive. Don't get me wrong. And I think I probably put him B based on just like the caliber of fighters he's fought. Like he hasn't fought he's fought good fighters. He hasn't fought any great fighters. We'll put it that way. I think that's one thing I want to see. But from what we have seen, I think it is A worthy. We'll put it A tier worthy.
I agree. Yeah. I don't.
He's on the younger side of prospect, I think, on this tier list, and I think that's important to note because here's the thing: like some of these guys, like Mahomes, are also objectively further ahead than like a Balaji Oki or a Coway Fernandez. We'll put it that way. So,
I agree. Let's see. Someone like, who am I looking at?
What about Mike Beast Boy Davis?
I was just gonna say that. Let's talk about Mike Davis, who he's only lost in the UFC to Fares Ziam and Gilbert Burns. Lost on Contender Series to Sadiq Yusuf. I really like what I see from Mike Davis. He's also someone that has beaten Mason Jones.
Yes.
So by that math,
he beat Mason Jones a while ago. But this is kind of
I'm gonna put him at B. How do you feel about that?
I was gonna say B as well because I think one thing I talked about this earlier. You could be like a Josh fan, extremely active, and that's why you're like an S tier versus a guy who's also winning, not as active but is in B tier. I think Mike Davis is the perfect example of that. He's been more active, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights since 2021. It's not great. I'd love to see more from him. He's had 2 this year, which is good. So getting a little more active. But I think B tier is a good placement for him. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really like what Mike Davis brings. Solid grappling, great hands, powerful as well. I just think that maybe the activity needs to ramp up a little bit. But he does have good wins, and the way he has won has been solid as well. It's not just decisions or just straight submissions or knockouts. He's shown he can do it all. So I'm impressed with his game, but I think B tier is a good home for him as of right now. Someone that I think, say it again.
No, sorry, I was just doing some commentary. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Someone I also think would be on. Actually, no. You know what? Someone that I'm going to say is on A tier right now that I'm pretty high on, and I think he could be a problem. I'm going to put Tom Nolan up here.
Ooh, interesting.
I think Tom Nolan is the real deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would also put him on A tier. I think he's looked like, look, he has fought. He's also one of like the newer prospects, kind of in the same range as Kyle Fernandez. I think he's also like he's like in that range. He's won a lot. Again, one of the younger prospects, fairly newer, but I
Mhm.
think I like A tier for him. I think he's from what he's shown. Like he loses to Nicholas Mota, then he beats Victor Martinez, Alex Reyes, Slava Claus, and then gets the rear naked choke against Charlie Campbell recently.
Yep.
That's a pretty good resume, dude. I like where his head's at right now. I think that's a great win. And I think he's been doing really well. I think A tier is definitely deserved.
Yeah, definitely. And especially the bounce back against Charlie Campbell too. He's shown that he can deal with adversity, come back and finish the fight. That's something that I always like to see and look out for. So yeah, I think that A tier is good for him. But let's talk about Chris Taco Padilla right now. Where would you put
Yes,
him,
I was
Sam?
waiting for that. Sorry, what did you say?
Where would you put him, Sam?
Chris Padilla. So I believe I picked Ismail Bonfim over him
Hmm.
in the last fight. 4 wins in the UFC. He impresses me. He definitely impresses me, I will say. Um, oh man, I'm on the fence between A and B tier with Chris Padilla. Um, I think I'll put him in A, man. Like, look, he hasn't shown
I like
much.
it.
You what?
I like it.
Yeah, like look, he hasn't shown that like the Jai Herbert fight was a split decision. That was a very close fight. But his other fights in the UFC have been fantastic. His losses are what kind of brings him down a little bit. Like, look, 17-6, he was in a bad spot, and now he's on a great winning streak, gets in the UFC, and it just keeps that up. He is hot right now. And I think that's what you want to be as a prospect. You want to be hot. You want to stay on fire. You want to get that recognition. And I think that's exactly what Chris Padilla is doing. He is an A tier prospect, closer to B than S, but I will say, like, I think that's still A worthy.
I definitely agree. Yeah, he got hands of steel. He was a very sneaky 3-0 before he knocked out Ismail Bonfim. And yeah, I think this guy's gonna be good. I think we could see
Yeah.
a ranking next to his name soon.
I got a
As well.
question for you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got a question. Sorry, we finished talking about
No,
Padilla?
yeah, I'm done.
I have a question. Let's look at the lonely C tier, full of a guy with C's in his name, Charlie Campbell.
Yep.
Any other C tier guy on this list that we haven't ranked yet, in your opinion?
I was thinking about it, but I don't really know how I would feel putting him there. I was thinking maybe Gage Young, just because like he's 1-1. He did lose to Sal Killed on Contender Series, and he's proven to be a solid fighter. I just feel like I looking at the guys that we have in B tier, I don't think he's B tier as of right now. I think he
I
could be very
agree.
close
I
to
think he
getting
is.
there.
I think he's C tier, and by the way, that's I think I am putting him in C tier because he's such a new prospect. He hasn't proven me much.
Right.
Like, it's not like a Charlie Campbell or just like I'm not a believer. This is a guy like, okay, I'm putting you in C tier, dude. Prove me wrong. Like, give me like show me more before I move you up. So it's not really anything against him. I just think like I want to see more, a lot more. We'll put it that way.
No, yeah, I definitely agree, and I think that's like I said, I think that's the reason that I'm putting him there, and I feel like it's nothing that he's done. I just think that once I get to see a little bit more of him, I'll be a little more keen on moving him up the rankings. Someone I'm gonna put in B tier is Narulo Aliev. I think he's solid. I want to see a little bit more than just decisions out of him. I don't believe in his UFC career he has finished the fight other than his Contender Series win. Even his fights in different promotions before coming to the UFC, a lot of decisions on his resume. I want to see him start mixing it up, start throwing in a lot more punches and trying to finish the fight rather than just wrestling. I think that he has talent. He's a tremendous wrestler, and he has very good control. And some people are even calling him like a mini Khabib, which I think could be, warranted, but I want to see a little bit more aggression from him trying to finish the fight. So that's why I have him at B tier rather than, any other tier. And I think C tier is too low for him.
Yeah, I think B tier is a good spot. Like he's proven he can win in the UFC. First of all, can you fight better fighters? First of all, and second of all, let's switch up your style a little bit. I think B is a good place for him. I think that's someone that's just like prove me more, but like you've proven enough to stay here.
I definitely agree. I think it's just like it'll take time for him to figure it out, but it's there, and wrestling is the best base in MMA. So I think that he definitely has good things going for him. Where would you put Markel Madero, Sam?
Markel Madero. Let me look up this guy right now. Markel. I want to look at the record.
I believe Madero. He is undefeated.
Markel Madero. Let's look at him. He has 2 losses, I believe. No, sorry, he's 11-1. And he hasn't lost in the UFC either. This is another guy like similar to what we were just talking about. Another guy I would put in the B tier. I want to see more, but you're on the right track, dude. We'll put it that way.
I like it. I think B tier is good for him. Undefeated in the UFC. Another kind of decision merchant. So I don't know. I feel like when I see a lot of decisions and like, that's a way to win fights and you can't really knock against it. I like to see fighters that try and end the fight in terms of, really just showing kind of like that ruthless aggression in the octagon, trying to finish it any which way they can. Because the UFC, what I've noticed, they like promoting finishes. They don't like promoting decisions. So I think that to get your name out there, at least, that is something that you really want to do for yourself. And even on Contender Series, I know that's not the UFC in general, but if you get a decision, unless it's probably like the best fight of all time, like Martinetti versus Mark Vologdin, you're not going to get a contract. So I think that every fighter should be trying to do that. And I think he is on the right track, though, just like Sam said. And I'm not really worried about him. So that leaves our last guy, Frenchman Axel Sola.
Oh, I got a good place for him.
I'm putting him right here. Do you like A tier?
A tier, I like A tier too. I mean, 11, he's still undefeated in the UFC. Or unbeaten in general, because I mean he's had one fight.
Yeah, he had one draw.
Good in that fight,
Aries
man.
FC. Yeah, and he looked good against Reese McKee. He was getting tagged up, and he came back and absolutely destroyed him.
Yeah, and again, like there's a lot more to prove. I think he separated himself from those guys I was putting in B tier though. With just like prove it to me more. I think he did. He proved a lot to me. I think A tier very much could change. I think. Again, towards the bottom of A tier right now, but I love it. I loved what I saw. I think he could definitely stay in A tier for now.
Okay. So now we have all of our fighters out of the pool on the board. Is there anything that we would like to change?
I'm going to put this in full screen so just I can see this real quick.
Yes.
So taking our beautiful faces off.
I'm thinking a few changes could potentially be made.
I think I see one.
Okay, what are you thinking?
I think we can move Chris Duncan to S tier.
Okay.
I think he is an S tier fighter compared to what like is in A tier right now. I would put Chris Duncan in S tier. I would also.
I think I'm going to move him up here too.
Who's that?
Esteban Ribovics.
Ribovics can be an S tier. I'm fine with that. It was close, but he's proven a lot to me. I think.
Would you move Zellhuber up to A tier?
No, I would not.
Okay.
I would not. I think I honestly like where I'm at right now.
Let's see. All right. So let's give a little rundown just to end it off. We got Rufi, Ignacio Bahamondes, Manuel Torres, Quillen Salkill, Chris Duncan, Esteban Ribovics in S tier. A tier, we have Mason Jones, Cowboy Fernandez, Tom Nolan, Chris Padilla, and Axel Sola. B tier, we got Daniel Zellhuber, Balaji Oki, Nazim Sadikov, Mike Davis, Narulo Aliev, Markel Medeiros. In C tier, Charlie Campbell and Gage Young. In D tier, we got Trevor Peak and Anshul Jubli. I think that's not
I
a
think
bad
that's very
list.
solid.
I think that's pretty solid. Yeah, I don't really
I think
see
there's going to
anyone
be
that
some
I'd
disagreements, especially with like Kawhi Fernandez not being in. People are saying Kawhi Fernandez might be an S tier. I think A tier. I need to see a little bit more.
And that's a perfect place to plug the comments. So whoever's watching this video, please comment below what you guys think, because it's all opinionated. So, these are just our opinions. We'd love to hear your guys' opinions. So if you could smash that like button. If you're new here, subscribe, turn on post notifications. We will start picking up streaming. It'll be a little bit of a slow spell for the UFC. After this event on Saturday, there will be a 6-week hiatus as the Paramount changeover happens, but we're going to keep putting out content. So if you guys like content like this, please let us know. We're more than happy to keep doing this. We could do this for, maybe every weight class. I think that's a good thing that we can do. There's a lot of prospects in the UFC right now, especially because of Contender Series. So I think that it'll be some good, fresh content for you guys. We like doing things that we've never done. But yeah, Sam,
And guys,
what do you
stay
think?
tuned for the War Roomies, where we give out the best
Oh
UFC
yeah,
awards
we're
of
also
the
going to do a
year.
little awards
The
show.
first annual War Roomies.
Yes,
we'll put
sir.
it that way. We're excited for
excited
that.
for
That's
that.
going to be a good one. I'm excited to talk about that, get going. So it's going to be a fun time, man.
Yes, sir. I couldn't agree more. But yeah, like I said, like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment, and we will see you guys for predictions posted on Friday. So stay tuned for that. Cop versus Royval. It's going to be a great event to end the year. I think it'll be a good main event.
Let's hope this one doesn't get canceled.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't get canceled. That would be pretty terrible to end off the year. I would be really mad, and you guys will see a rant.
ESPN would be mad. We'll put it
ESPN would be pissed. Just like me, you would see a rant on YouTube. But yeah, for Sam Corcoran, Shrikar Rajendran in the chat.
No longer.
And for me, Chris Schroyer, thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned for Friday for the predictions, and we'll see you guys then.